So thank you everybody. My name is Pera. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Compite. And as you realize, I'm not from here. I'm originally from Barcelona, Spain. I moved to San Francisco and then recently moved to Austin, Texas, where most of our growth team is based. Okay, and one day told me I had to prepare this presentation. It was like, I love this opportunity, okay, because we've been working in this for a long time. And I thought it would be very interesting to do something that's useful for all of you guys, okay? So we're gonna talk about sales battle cards and the opportunity of having an audience that's actually, educated, or they know what sales enablement is. That's great, because until now we have been pitching completely to people you need to do sales enablement, whatever. Now we don't need to do this, we can go straight to the point, okay? And the point is that nothing is more painful than losing deals to a competitor, okay? There are many reasons why this is like this. First of all, obviously it's economic. The moment you lose a deal to a competitor, you already paid all the customer acquisition cost, or almost all of it. You paid for marketing, you paid for sales development, you paid for almost all the account executive work. So what is left to pay is just the compensation if you win the deal, So from an economic standpoint, it's really, painful. And this is not everything. Your reps may get frustrated. There is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt around losing deals to competitors. And finally, you may also see some sort of finger pointing between teams. Why are we losing so many deals? Why is this competitor always winning? And so on. And at some point, we all know here that there is a solution for this that's called sales battle cards, okay? So at some point, product marketers or sales enablement specialists decided to say, okay, let's go. Let's prepare a lot of content, send it to our reps and our sales team so that they can use it to prevent this and to fix these issues, which is either they don't have intel or it's outdated, or for some reason these guys are not positioning the company the appropriate way, okay? And that works. That works in theory. What in Spain we call on the paper, that works. But when it comes to reality, we all know that there is something that are forgetting here. That's that this intelligence needs to be used, okay? Reps have to use the battle cards that we prepare. And, okay, it's still here, cool. And this is why I love this scene of this Netflix TV show where this guy, Steve Murphy, said, you can have all the intelligence of the world, but if no one is there to act on it, what is it worth? So absolutely nothing. No matter how good is your battle card, no matter how much intelligence is in there, no matter how hard you work to prepare this, if these guys are not actually looking at this intelligence, the moment they need to use it, it's going to be worth nothing, okay? Cool. So first question is okay, why are reps not using your battle cards? And this is the topic I would like to, it's gonna be the whole conversation about, or the whole presentation about. There are a few reasons that we identify. We talk with sales enablement teams and reps every day, many times a day. And these are the things they point, or we end up figuring out that happen. First one is the battle cards or cheat sheets or whatever you use are hard to access for them. It's they don't have it handy at the moment, okay? The second one is what we call TLDR. You all know what it is about. It's a lot of information, and these guys are not gonna retain all of this information in their brains, okay? And another problem that we see very frequently is that the content that's in the battle card is not relevant to close the deal, okay? There is a lot of content, but this is not what you need to actually close a deal. It's good to know, it's nice to have, it's things that they have to know, but it's not what's gonna actually lead to close a deal, okay? Sometimes we see that the intelligence is outdated. Maybe, something happened in the market and they don't know it, or the battle cards are not updated, maybe because it's a PDF and they haven't still sent the last one. And finally, that's also a very cool effect that you can have the greatest battle card, very relevant content, short, accessible, updated. They may check it once, they may check it 2 times, they say cool, now I know it. And they don't look at it anymore because they say, I already know it. I already memorize all of this and I'm using it in my deals, but then something may change and they don't realize that it has changed, okay? And they're blind for a while. So these are the main reasons why we realize that reps are not using it. And the reality is that at the end, enabling sales or sales teams is not that easy as it's on the paper, okay? It requires, and I'm sure you guys are going to be familiar with this, it requires a lot of work. There is a lot of like competitive research. Try to find like what these guys have done, what has changed. You may end up using a lot of documents, tools, spreadsheets, and it's also difficult to drive this adoption, which means like, to make sure that these guys are actually going to use it and train them on how to use it. And finally, it's very, very hard to measure. Okay, it's very hard to measure because the people that is actually working on creating these battle cards or sales enablement materials are not the ones that are actually using, and sometimes, and most of the times, it's even like two different departments. So it's hard to measure and how to see if this is being useful or not. Okay, so how can we make all of this work? Okay, and I like to say that it all starts with a framework. Okay, so we created a framework. We call it the competitive advantage framework. With the goal to organize or help companies, organize the whole competitive function and drive, measurable revenue or measurable profit out of it, okay? This framework works for any type of intelligence use case. It could be competitive or not competitive, okay? And it's based on the fact that someone needs to use the intelligence and change something in the company, and take it down to what we call like small measurable actions that you can track so that you can, keep tracking it and end up tracking the value of the intelligence that you are producing, okay? And in this case, it's all about, providing intelligence to a level where you can track how are your reps using this intelligence, okay? And this is how that would work, okay? The first stage, it all goes down to the time you need. So one of the reasons why battle cards are updated is because it takes a lot of time to keep them up to date, You gotta go do this research and so on. Then we talk to the companies and the product marketers and these guys, and they say, it takes a lot of time to collect all this data, from their websites, from review sites, from news, and also like collect all the feedback from the team, which comes in like different sources, which is like, they may send you an email, or they may, write something in a Slack channel that it flies, okay? So the first tip would be automate the competitive research, combine a process and technology so that it can be bring down with your appropriate process and technology. You can bring this time, once you have the battle card set up, it can bring this time down to less than an hour a week. It depends on the technology you use and what process you have. But you can bring this down to 1 hour, okay? And then unify, what we call the feedback loop with your team, and then also include it in the same technology set, okay? Once you have all of these automated, the next step would be create KISS battle cards, and that's an essential step, and that's critical for the company, okay? The first thing that we mentioned here is like create intel like needed to close, no more, okay? So put in the hands of your reps or in front of them the intel they need to close the deal, okay? Sometimes we try to, put a lot of intelligence or send them a lot of information about competitors, and that ends up overwhelming the reps, okay? I like to do the GPS analogy. So when you are using a GPS, you want directions. You don't want an atlas at this moment. When someone is driving, this person needs the directions, not all the information about what's happening around. Okay, it's like everything that's important to actually drive and get to the place. Sales reps are the same. When they are in a call, when they are in a meeting, when they are facing the objection or facing the competitor, there's no time to think. It's something that needs to be very actionable and very short, okay? And also it's important thing that we always recommend to create intelligence in-house. Why? Because you can get help from anywhere, but at the end, this very, very short, small piece of intelligence you're gonna hand to your sales rep, it's the whole positioning, and you want this to be happening in-house. You want to be the person that's actually deciding how your team is going to confront this competitor, and you want this to happen all the time the same way. Okay, and get sales involved. Okay, that's also when you create these minimum viable battle cards, we should have like the minimum amount of information necessary to close a deal. The sales team should be involved here. Okay, the sales management and even the sales team should be involved. It has to sound natural. It has to be something that they can click, read, and win. Okay, and the good thing of last good thing of like having like easy to maintain or like very short battle cards that they are very easy to maintain. You don't have to end up curating a lot of information. It's all about these strengths and weaknesses, kill shots, and whatever is important to close the deals. Okay. We have seen like all type of battle cards since we started. We have seen battle cards that include, the name of the CEO or the market cap of a company or the tweets that this company is posting. Like, how are you supposed to close a deal with this information? This is nice, Like I'm a sales rep. I get sales reps working, in Austin all the time. And these guys pick up the phone, and the moment someone mentions a competitor, it's like boom, Like you can feel the pressure they have in this moment. And it's like, well, the market cap of this company is 13 billion. And it's like, okay, I'm not gonna close now, It's all about how do we position against this company? What are the 3 sentences? What are the skill shots that you say this, you win the deal, okay? Now, it's time to make this information available for the reps, okay? This is what we call like sharing this intelligence, okay? And 2 things here. One single source of truth that, keep all your competitive data in one place. That eliminates the problem of the version control. And, I have the battle card from last month. Keep it in one place, ideally in the cloud, one single version, and, you control all this information. I'm pretty sure you all guys know about it. And then the second one is like, deliver the battle cards in the tools that your reps are using it, okay? One of the reasons why they don't open the battle card is because they need to log in or sign up or use another tool that is not available there, or go find the PDF, I don't know, like in a folder that's shared, which is like, it's available for you, yes, but at this moment, you are in a conversation, you get a few seconds, and it's very hard for reps like to, pick the report and find the report at this moment, okay? So we like one place, one click, here's the battle card, say this, okay? Cool. Then another, advice here that we like to do is like train your team to win, okay? And that's also something that we are experiencing like many times, which sometimes that we are, training our teams for a lot of things, which is not what they need to do. So we recommend to have like 2 tracks of training, okay? 2 training tracks. One track is training your team in the landscape, and this is the atlas or the big, the map, and that's like, long sessions that you can do at the beginning on onboarding, and then maybe like every quarter, you keep them updated and like, look, here are the competitors. This competitor, is like, this company is that big, they do these things, and we tend to compete this way and this way. And then is when you can like, show all the information and discuss it in long sessions. And then there has to be like another track, that's the battle card track, which is where you discuss how to use the battle card that you have prepared. And train these teams in actions, not in memorizing what says in the battle card, because this can change. This can change at any single moment, okay? So train these guys, train your reps in the actions that they need to take. And these actions are normally click here, open the battle card, scroll to the section, the battle card section in your CRM, and, read this the most natural way possible, And guess what? We prepared it for you so that you can read it and it sounds natural. And if you are very inspired that day, you can add something of your own sauce, But at this moment, what you are doing is like simplifying, and you're giving them a tool that they can use, not, something that they need to memorize, And also another action that's important is train them in reviewing the battle cards whenever they get updated. You prepared all these sales materials for them, which is like, it can change at any time, and there has to be like a process that says every time that this changes, you gotta go and review it, check it out, and then again, even if you haven't reviewed it, every time you need it, go and open the battle card and use the battle card, okay? And then finally, the last stage is going to be measured. And that's where things get a little bit complicated sometimes, okay? But if the process is executed as we have described before, where people is actually going to some piece of software, or open some documents, and they're going to execute it always the same way because they have been trained for this, and that's helpful for them to close the deals, you can start measuring the things or correlating to metrics. Your win-loss rates, if you don't have the win-loss rate, doesn't matter. You can use conversion rates or individual conversion rates, whatever gets closer to the behavior you want to, or to the success you want to measure, and the usage of the battle card. And then here are many tricks. If you have software for this, your software can show you who is opening the battle card and how often are they doing, so that you can correlate both metrics. If it's not software, there are solutions for everyone. You can just use a tracking pixel, something that sends you information back to the spreadsheet, and you can just end up measuring this and correlate the usage of the battle card with the win-loss rates. Okay, that would be everything for this presentation. It's a pretty short presentation. And finally, just let you know, last piece of advice, that you can automate your whole battle cards with Compite, and stop by our booth, find it, and if you have any questions, more than happy to answer them. Questions? Yes?
You mentioned the two different training tracks, the landscape and battle cards.
Yeah.
I don't know if your solution does this or if you have any recommendations, but what's the best way to track trends in the landscape that would probably feed into battle cards? So not a specific competitor, but hey, we're seeing a lot more talk around this across industry websites.
Yeah, so either you can track mentions, or who is talking about a specific topic, or use Google Trends. The thing is, no matter what you use, the trends shouldn't be the trend analysis shouldn't be in the battle card. So what I'm saying is, training your sales team is great, but there is a difference between the report that you prepare to train them. If the trends are important in your industry, then you definitely have to train your team in this. But if I need to know the trend for the battle card should be the report that they use to close a deal now, which is the application, or the essence of all of this, everything synthesized in a few sentences that they can use. And that would be the thing. The best ways to do this, there are a lot of tools that can help you do this. It depends on how you can see the trends. You can track social media, you can track any sort of information, press releases, you can track a lot of information out there that can help you identify these trends. But this would be the product marketing work, which is part of it, and then this should end up in a set of strengths, weaknesses, and kill shots to use. Please.
How do you take this information in a battle card and overlay it with what the sales team has provided as far as sales scripting?
Okay, so there are many ways that you can use this. So depending on the sales enablement solution you use, you can put everything together in one place, or they can have the script in one size. But the moment that the conversation leads to the competitor objection, when the prospect says, "I'm looking at this, company," then the script should be the battle card. That's what the kill shot is for, So maybe it's two different times of the conversation. So you can start the script, and that's your sales enablement materials. And you may have how I'm going to introduce the position to start winning even before having the objection. And at that point, I would apply the same methodology, which is very short scripts and keep them up to date. But then the moment that this competitor shows up in the call, then is when you do need this battle card, and then use these kill shots to confront the objection. Does it answer your question, or?
Yeah, can you give an example of what that would look like?
So, for example, the way we have it is we have sales enablement materials, and the sales enablement materials have scripts and how to position and introduce. And at this point, you can start positioning your product better than a competitor, but at that point, you still don't know if they are like looking at your competitors or not, which is going to be the main one, which is the final use case or the pain points. But once you know all this information, then it's no longer about scripts. It's about, hey, I'm looking at this guy, and then you need to say something. And normally here is when, if you ask, 20 guys about how do we position against this competitor, they're all going to say, you're going to have like 20 different answers. And if you have 20 different answers, there is only one thing that's true, that 19 are wrong. It could be 20 or 19, but 19 are wrong. There is one best answer. So, and this is the answer you try to solve with this minimum viable battle card. It's like everyone is going to pitch the same things based on, and then you can have like a specific battle card by use cases or by whatever it's important to you. But as long as it's accessible at one click, it doesn't matter if you're using like HighSpot or what are you using to integrate your battle cards there, or the CRM or whatever the guys are using to actually, check the scripts and use the scripts. Recommendation would be, if you're using a platform, then put it in the platform. If it's not a platform, then use extensions or use scripts and extensions, something that can that can enable the guys use the information the moment they have to use it.
Okay, thanks.
Who else? Anyone else? Yeah.
You mentioned in the first part of your presentation, like the automation piece.
Yep.
What type of technology did you use in the past? Tech plus that. I just wanted to understand.
Okay, so it all depends on what do you want to track. Okay, what's important for you. So the way we like to look at this is, if this is the framework, the information you have to collect will depend on what do you want to measure. Okay, so you gotta go back and say, we want to improve this step or this win-loss rates, and then what I'm going to include in my battle cards or in my sales enablement materials in order to make sure that we win against this competitor, for example. And then what makes the difference in your industry? It could be the features, it could be pricing, it could be service, whatever it is. That's the most important things. And then let's collect data. Where is our competitor posting this? Is it in their website? So if they have if it's about features or pricing and the pricing is public, I can check it there. It could be information coming from the team. Then I need the team to send information, and then all of this put it in the same place. And then we have all type of examples that are working with us. For example, people that are tracking, they are only interested in features and press releases. Other people is more like features, social media, press releases, even advertising, because for some reason, if the competitor is launching a campaign, you're more in the B2C space with these call centers. They're launching a campaign, and a telco is changing the pricing today. You need to update all these guys, and this is something that you may find it by tracking advertisements. And there is technology to track all type of information in internet. It's more about find the information you want to track, decide what is going to make the difference, and track that. Don't track more things.
Who else has a question? Anything? Good.
All right.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you
Thank you very much.
much.
Okay.